Oi, oi, vibes here.
I'm DJ Macca. This is Paul Louise.
Hi, my name's Robbie Edwards.
My name's MC Hurricane.
I'm DJ Reverend.
Hey, this is Mark Simon. I'm John Edge. MC Lloyd Wheel.
Reggie Sarah.
Stevie Wonder. Hi, this is Bob K.
I'm Les Calvert. I'm DJ City TV.
Yes, this is JFMC. You're listening to the Couture 303 podcast
With J Viper, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to another special episode of the Couture 303 podcast with me, Jay Viper, and today's guest is one of the finest DJs to come out of Northern Ireland, the one and only legendary DJ X-Ray. Here he is.
Very much.
How are we?
Thank you very much for that.
Well, you know, I like to pick the guests up, you know.
What are you up about?
Yeah, well, that's it, you know, get the best out of them.
Send you that fiver.
It was a tenner, right? It was a tenner.
Yeah, I'll send you 2 fivers.
Yeah. Right, so as I always do with all my guests, Ray, I just go right back to the start. So where and when were you born, mate?
I was born in where and when?
Where and when?
Where and when? I was born in a town called Ballymoney, 1973, January 1973. So I'm 50, just turned 50 past. And then my hometown is actually a place called Coleraine, which is about 12 miles away from Ballymoney, because they had no maternity hospital at the time.
Fuck off. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that you had to get my mum had to give birth in a barn.
Jesus Christ! You're like the second coming of Jesus.
Christ.
Yeah.
No. He was in the barn.
Yeah. he was in the year below you in school, wasn't he?
Yeah. Also beside there. Yeah. So it was 12 miles away from my
Jesus
my
Christ.
Of Coleraine.
Yeah. So what was your childhood like? Have you got a big family? Was you both your parents?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah. Well, both parents came from big families. One had maybe 13. The other one had 7.
Jesus.
And then they had offsprings the whole way through, and they have about 50 cousins. You know, that's all right. But I've got like 3 sisters and 1 brother. I'm the youngest, obviously.
You're the youngest. You're the baby.
Yeah, aye.
Little baby.
So
Ray.
I was the one that got to live life a bit more freely, where they were sort of into country and western and rock and stuff like that, and I got to experience the rave scene.
Okay, so what was your childhood like? What were you like in school? Were you a good kid, naughty kid? Creative?
Yeah,
creative?
The mischief, like we all had a bit of mischief going on, didn't we?
Yeah. Don't tag me into it, Ray. Nothing to fucking do with me.
Yeah,
Don't give me this wee business.
It takes one to know one. Yeah, the school. Well, I went to school in the 80s, like, so it's pretty much like a concrete jungle. Dare be fucking killed, you know, or never be killed. One of the two. Yeah. That's when I actually started DJing. Was when about my 4th year.
Yeah.
Maybe my 5th year, 1988. That was like I got a job collecting glasses in a place in Portstewart with another friend who was actually putting on records before the main DJ. So that then got me another job in a place in Coleraine after 2 girls heard that I was working down in that place and asked me did I want a job in there called Lacey's. When I went in there, it was basically a case of just doing the glasses and the cloakroom and stuff like that. And that was probably about 1987. Maybe in around December, if I'm right, yeah, probably December '87. And then I was up playing the lights one night before the boss put them on before the DJ, and I was up just fucking about them, touch pads and shit, you know. And he come up running out the office. He must have seen me in the camera. Fuck off there! Let me catch you in there again. So I was like scurried off, fucking down into the cloakroom again. So about 2 weeks later, he comes down maybe halfway through the night and says, right, that boy's not coming back. That's your job up there now. So that was kind of my introduction to the DJ box.
Doing the lights.
And at that stage, I had a set of Technics in there, the silver ones, the 1200s. There was a guy called Barry Euler. He was a resident DJ, and I got to know him very well after that. But he was like a Scottish geezer, very much disco, charty stuff, you know. Maybe the odd bit of dance music before the end of the night stuff, but nothing too out there or obscure. But then I got the chance then to move into the DJ game whenever they asked me to start putting on records before him, at that stage I had no fucking clue. I don't even think there was any slip mats on the decks. And it was like all his 7-inch singles he was playing, and he used to say to me, keep the music down and keep the lights down until I come on, and give him the big entrance take fucking thing. Yeah, but I don't think that lasted too long. And then on Valentine's Night 1988, the boss came up and said to me, that DJ can't make it in, and the other DJ that he was looking to bring in can't make it, so you're on your own tonight. Well, what the fuck? So I sort of shit up my brick a bit. But something really funny happened that night too. I still call it the Rod Stewart effect. Whenever somebody come up and asked me, did I have any Rod Stewart? And I had a wee flick through the right. I don't think so, mate. And he goes, well, you're fucking dead outside.
Fucking hell.
that's always stuck with me,
Yeah.
I've always had Rod Stewart with me since.
I've had I got headbutted once doing a function. I was doing a function in a local place, like a working man's club.
Oh, yeah.
I was standing in for somebody else as well, by the way. I was only about 19, 20. I was about fucking 10 stone, piss wet through, fucking like a little bean pole. I was dead skinny. And I was playing like commercial dance type stuff. And some fella came over and he went, do us a favour, mate. He said, play a bit of Motown for the fucking half-arts over there. I went, okay, yeah. So I said, so we finished off the track. And I said, right, I'm going to have to play some Motown now, bit of Motown for some of the old farts in here. And I giggled like, next thing, this fucking fella, fucking built like a brick shithouse, comes steaming over. I went, hey, you. And I went, what? Grabs me by me fucking ears. He went, you just called me wife and I'll cunt. Fuck off. Went,
is that what happened to your ears?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had them stitched back on. I had fucking scratch marks on my neck and everything. Like I said, I was only about 9. I fucking shit myself.
Fast forward about maybe.
Yeah, if I'd only had a bit of Rod Stewart. So just rewind just a little sec then, Ray. So you said your musical influences came from, not from your family, no?
Yeah, it definitely was. My dad, he played the saxophone, clarinet. He was in dance bands like from the late 40s to right the way up to maybe 93 until he actually retired from it. So I got to see him possibly in around the age of maybe. Oh, there was always music on around the house, and he was always singing, and he was a singer as well. But he, the thing, excuse me, I'll just have a wee sort of coffee.
I see you topping it up with whiskey before you land.
Yeah. He used to take my mum to the local, like a dance, like a hotel for a dinner dance. So I got invited a couple of times, and I was only young. But it was good to see him sort of going up there and entertaining people, making them dance, and that's still my prerogative is to try and make people dance. I think that's as a DJ's job. I don't think a DJ should be standing there just playing music that he likes or music that he has in a set. And, he's come out and play it. I like DJs being more free like that, more open, and able to adapt. And but that's just seeing my dad at that point was. It made me want to. I didn't know what I wanted it to be, but it turned out I was brought into the DJ.
The need to entertain is kind of ingrained in your body.
Well, that's basically what you're working on. They're working on entertainment business.
Okay, so you started doing the lights. You started getting these gigs in this place, but this is like late 80s. What was the rave scene?
1988.
88. So was the rave scene in Northern Ireland then, or was it just
There were possibly things happening up and around Belfast in a club like type scenario with the Sugar Sweet guys. Then basically it wasn't what we call the rave scene didn't kick into really in Portrush till about late 1990. Before that, Brian Moore Tracks had been doing like the DMC mixing championships, bringing over the likes of Cutmaster Swift, and he was actually one of the reps for Brian. I was actually speaking to Brian the other day. Brian's quite getting on in years. You're not like me saying that, but he's still DJing. And that's great. But he was one of the first guys to bring sort of dance music in terms of garage and hip house and stuff like that to the North Coast. Yeah. But when it come to a blustering rave, it was Chris Hurley. the late Chris Hurley, because Chris passed away. It was him that brought the rave to the forefront, where he walked in. It was like basically a Quadrant Park is what the only place I could imagine to that roar. Fucking, you just scored a fucking goal at Wembley. 2 minutes to go, injury time, and that sort of fucking primal roar, which I think a lot of people at that stage were in the backdrop of the Troubles. A lot of people were looking to get away from that, and a lot of people came from Belfast because they couldn't mingle in Belfast, and that's from both sides. And that's what I think. I met a guy actually. He was a soldier called Carl Weston. He was in Liverpool. I don't know if you know him, no?
You know what? I do know a Carl Weston. I'm not sure if he was in the army or not, though. He would be about 48, same as me.
This could be the same guy, because is he tall?
Yes. What are the chances? This could be the
what
same
are
guy.
the fucking chances?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the guys that was bringing over like records and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And he was bringing over tapes too. So I got to meet them guys in Kelly's. Because there was like I had a record shop over here as well, but that's maybe skipping on a wee bit too far. But we'll maybe get that in a wee minute or two.
Yeah. So what was your introduction? So you're playing in like a working man's club. You're playing basically Rod Stewart and stuff like that. When did it start to change for you personally? Did you get your own decks, or were you introduced to music from someone else, or how did that kind of transpire?
Well, again, it was going to tracks. My sister was maybe taking me to tracks when I was about 14, which is a nightclub in Portrush, which was telling your man Brian was in, and it was good to just see. At that point in the game, I don't think that people were actually facing the DJ. It was more like a dance around your handbags type scenario, 80s pyramid type thing. And as I said, it wasn't until like maybe 1990 before tracks actually went all dance music.
Yeah.
And it was that there to see that going that way. But I went to sort of working in an ice rink for a while, and it was more like a family oriented thing. But at night you could let listen to all the dance music,
Very cool, an ice rink.
But it was just that time Kelly's had opened up in '91, and as I say, it was like fucking mental, like, and that sort of inspired you to maybe go down that route of more less commercial, in our hearts, not in the charts vibe, which was, everything serves its purpose really, a music vibe. But I still look back at that music, and go, wow, that was great times, and even the late '80s for dance music, because it was just all coming in and fresh, and getting a bit more exposure than what it really was getting.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It was brand new, wasn't it? But I mean, kids today, dance music's been around for some of them for as long as they've been alive. But for us, we've seen it, kind of the genesis of it. We've seen the early rave stuff. Which I was too young to understand and appreciate the early rave stuff. People doing all that. It didn't make sense to me. Obviously, the drugs played a massive part of the rave scene. We're all comfortable talking about that now, because without the drugs, there wouldn't have been the scene that it was. But the music also played a fucking huge part of it.
But the drugs has been a huge part of every scene.
Say again.
Drugs has been a huge part of every scene.
Of course they have, yeah.
Rock.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You look at all the big rock and metal bands, that they all used to be fucking cokeheads or smackheads, didn't they?
Yeah. If you read some of the autobiographies from some of the old country guys, Johnny Cash, Slim Whitman, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, guys were all on fucking drugs.
Yeah, all of them. Anyway, we digress. So when did you get your first decks, and when did you start having a little dabble yourself? Actually, because I mean, I've seen videos of you, and you're not just a DJ. You're a creative DJ. You're a good DJ. You try and go the extra mile to do things. Looping and stuff like that other people don't do. Well, I say other people, not many. I'm a little bit like that myself, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that there's DJs out there No offense to them, like your Tiestos and stuff like that, they just blend one tune into the next and everyone thinks they're the fucking world's best. I like something a bit different. I like a bit of an X-Ray, a bit of a Trix, a bit of a James Abila, a bit of an Alex Kidd, a bit of a fucking, Kutski or something like that.
Yeah, I think really there's too much of the get up on top of the decks kind of DJs now and look at me, I'm vain, and I've just seen that so much recently over here.
It's all pre-recorded though, right? It's all pre-recorded. The pre-recorded sets, and they're up there giving it the fucking rock star bit and all that. Pisses me off, mate.
Well, that to me is just like fucking cardinal sin.
It's disrespectful,
isn't it?
It's disrespectful to DJs who actually fucking do it.
The art, But the art kind of was lost for everybody after the digital age came out. I know it still serves its purpose and it's great to have all sorts of effects and stuff going on and this, but it's just so easy now for somebody to go, oh, I want to be a DJ today, and tomorrow he's like fucking a DJ.
There's two ways to look at that though, right? I mean, there's different facets to being a DJ. Obviously, your tune selection is massively important, and how you put the tunes together. I as a DJ myself, that's important as well. And watching someone like yourself who goes the extra mile, I think that the technology has been in your favour. Because let's be honest, the stuff you can do now digitally, even with CDJs before controllers, the stuff you can do now. Back in the 90s, you needed 4 decks and a fucking big mixer about that fucking big.
4 decks and radios and all sorts of fucking stuff, Like a simple loop, was impossible back then unless you were cutting up, cutting up, that sort of way. But it serves its purpose, and again, it is still too easy. To say you can become a DJ in a day. Yeah. With the right training, like I could teach somebody digitally to become a DJ in a day. At 24 hours. Given that 24 hours, intensive training, but you really have to give them a visual aspect of what's happening first. Before they can because they don't use the pitch controls anymore for like mixing or so you need to be telling people a visual aspect. We're showing them a visual aspect of where breakdowns are, what a breakdown is, what a wave format looks like, an intro, an outro, fucking the whole 9 yards. And I'm still learning as a DJ. I actually think I'm a better DJ now than I was fucking back when I had a decent name, and in terms of we're playing the fucking Kellys every week for 2,000 and 3,000 people, and that I look now and go, I think I'm a better DJ now. I don't fucking blow smoke up my own hole, I think I'm actually more tuned into what's happening as well in terms of the music scenes and where you're playing at. A lot back then, a lot of people were maybe coming out to see me because I played a certain style. Now whenever I go out and play, I just want to try and cater for whoever's in the club. Maybe new stuff or the bootleg stuff I've been doing, or just old school in general.
So what were your first gigs as an actual DJ then?
Well, possibly there was loads of gigs in GAA halls and like fucking Orange halls and stuff like that before I actually moved to the Jet Centre. Even though I was doing some stuff like that, but it was possibly whenever I went down to play for Hector and that at Frankie's in Raffo. Well, that was like in Donegal and the South Ireland. It's south, but it's north, I don't know if you get me. And that was kind of like the first time I maybe got a decent wage as well, which was probably shit money, but it was still fucking hell. I think maybe one time before I played that, the owner's son would give me 20 quid. It maybe cost me fucking £35 to get there in the taxi and back. And with the 20 quid, I went down to the bar and said that was the actual guy who owned it, was behind the bar, an old man. I'm not mentioning any names, but he was like, I said, that kind of 6 balls of herb. I just wanted somebody to drink on the way home. And he set them up. He goes, you can take them away for DJing for free tonight. And I said, your son gave me 20 quid. He was like, what? They gave me 20 quid? So there you go.
So lesson 1, Rod Stewart.
Oh, wow.
Lesson 2, keep your fucking mouth shut at the bar.
Oh, I fucking looked at I never looked at that first in the mouth.
So it wouldn't be a podcast with you if we didn't talk a little bit about Kelly's. Obviously, I've seen some. I never had the privilege of going there, but I've seen some videos, and it looks to me like the Northern Irish version of the Drome or the Quad. So how did you get involved in Kelly's, and have you got any fond memories? Because it was a fucking the atmosphere. I mean,
just
Jesus
going there,
Christ.
even though it was a DJ, just going there as a raver was probably my best experience, just going there, because it was as raw, as I said, from 91 to 93, until I started playing it in 93. But just seeing the crowd reaction and the fucking, man, it's hard to explain it. It was quite like the Quadra Park in them days, because the songs were all the same. They were all like the piano-y, housey, maybe a bit of breakbeat thrown in there, a wee bit of techno.
Yeah.
That was a mixture of everything from James Brown is Dead to like Quadrophenia to Abraham Burkell, Circles, End of the Night, Sister Sledge, End of the Night. Lost in Music. Remember Chris Strawman Lost in Music, End of the Night. It was after his maybe third encore, and all the lights had been on, the big house lights had been on, and he dropped Lost in Music, and somebody went up and switched the lights off. It's just daft, everybody singing, so that actually came to an end, and like people were walking down to go to the White Rocks, the caves, which was after rave at the beach, and I just walking down behind everybody, and the steam was still rising off their backs, and people with no tops on, people chatting, talking about it, and everybody just started singing to themselves, "We're lost in music." It was one of the most, it was one of the most surreal, feelings from, and that was Chris. Chris was able to do that.
Yeah.
The next week they would have maybe played "Please Don't Go," by W or KWS, whatever, maybe W, but again, that song was just appreciated as much as the Sister Sledge one.
Yeah.
Other tracks, maybe Gary Josh, Freaky Dreamer, them really old sort of vibe, really, they're more like a indie kind of dance. Have you ever heard Gary Josh, Freaky Dreamer?
No, don't think so.
You in the land that I know, and I wish it could be. No, it was a girl from.
It probably sounds a little bit better now, doesn't
Happy
it?
Mondays. It probably sounds a lot better to me.
So how did you get involved in
Happy Mondays?
Yeah, how did you get involved in Kelly's then, from being a raver to being DJ? Was it just a natural progression because of you're making a name for yourself?
They started to do like monthly nights from a Scottish promoter called Harmony, and I just was giving the guy tapes every month, and just worked. It was probably scunner fucking talking to me. So before that, he probably did make me work for it, because he was like, well, there's 10,000 flyers, go and give them up around Belfast, and that's like 60 miles away from me. So I and my mate Jack and Shalana, and we just went up that day and just fucking handed everybody a flyer, no matter who you were, a granny, a granda, a fucking dog, a cat, and that went on for maybe a couple of months until maybe Harmony, that was probably Harmony 8. He says to me, well, you're on at the next Harmony. Like, wow. Well, it was along with Carcox, so that was probably the biggest step that I've ever taken.
Carcox, the name rings a bell.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
So that was basically September 93. And I was then the resident in the New Year's Eve 94.
Yeah.
Which was a fucking other crazy buzz. And again, that was because something you make your own luck at times, and sometimes persistence pays off.
Yeah.
God loves a trier, but he hates a fucking persistent bastard.
Well, there's a fine line, isn't there? And I've got a few people on my phone there. One came up in conversation the other day, and some people just can try too hard, can't they? And it can be distracting. It can piss you off. The Couture 303 podcast is now officially sponsored by Dapper Turkish Barbers in Hunts Cross. You can find them on Woodend Avenue and they do the full service there. The hair, the beard, the ears, the nose, the cutthroat, hot towels, the lot. It's the only barbers I ever go to. Fantastic service, great lads. No need to book, just pop in and see them 7 days a week. If you want a nice sick fade like mine, you will not be disappointed. The absolute best in the area. That's Dapper Turkish Barbers, Woodend Avenue, Hunts Cross. And now back to the show. So, how were you introduced to DJ Trick? Because the first time I heard your name, I think you were on a drone flyer in Birkenhead. But either before that or around that time, I'd seen your name in M8 magazine. Because there was a couple of DJs from Northern Ireland that got a mention quite a lot. Yourself, Bin Man, Psy, not DJ Psy SY, DJ Psy SCI, and a couple of others. Tizer I think it was another one. So the first time I heard of you, the first time I seen or heard of you was in the Drone Birkenhead. But I know DJ Tricks had quite an affinity with Northern Ireland. So did that come out from the Drone, or was that previous to that?
Tricks was over here working for High and Life Promotions for quite a while, and they set up. Well, after basically I came down and played in Kelly's and fucking wrecked the place. And that once you do that in there, you're a guest back, come back again, blah 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 blah. And Tricks was unreal at that. So I kind of DJed with him a couple of times in there, and then with the gig in the Drum, my first gig in the Drum was just by fluke, because I'd been gigging by Chill FM in Glasgow the night before, and they were going down to Liverpool for the Saturday, and they were, come on down. So we went down and seen Tricks, and I don't know who the guy was at the time. The kind of manager guy,
Bonner,
but
Bonner Hingley.
Who?
Bonner
Was it a guy with like sort of wavy hair?
There was Bonner was the promoter, I think, and the guy who runned it was a guy called Alan Larkin, an ex-police officer, big tall guy. Alan ran the club. He also ran the state in Liverpool as well. But I think the guy who was doing the promotions was Bonner.
Right, yeah.
I might be wrong.
The guys from Chile FM said, that's mad, this guy's got his records with him tonight, and the guy ran it past Tricks. Yeah, I suppose okay. So that was, and then I got asked back the next time, which was just shortly before it shut, really.
Yeah.
And again, it was just a fucking great buzz to get out of Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And this guy actually called me down from the stage, and he asked me, did I know a guy from Northern Ireland? I actually did, from my hometown.
What are the chances?
I'm not mentioning any names. And he was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. Give me a wee present in my hand,
Yeah. I won't ask what it was. So how did
his phone number?
Yeah, of course it was, yeah. So how did the Old School Takeover start? Because I became aware of the Old School Takeover when you started doing events in Liverpool, but it's been going on a little bit longer than that, hasn't it, in Northern Ireland? So how did that come about?
I put out a post probably about 2013 saying, would anybody be interested, or I don't know if it would be worthwhile doing like a weekly dance show. Obviously, a lot of guys going, you run out of songs, such and such, blah, blah, blah. So a couple of years later, I've moved back down to my home here that I've moved out of, because I'd moved back with my dad after my mum died for a while. I come back in here and sort of going to get this going. So it was 2015. So it's coming up nearly in 8 years. I think it was August 2015. So really just guys around the house, playing and doing lives and stuff like that. And that sort of progressed on to doing more like a show, and I tried to make it a wee bit more professional. No, not that you can make fucking something like that professional. We try and make it as good as possible. Yeah. But I think it served its purpose more so than it did over lockdown.
Yeah.
Is where I didn't even DJ on it for like 8 to 10 months, because it was just putting on guests every week and trying to do big events and make people. Yeah, everybody miss nightclubs anyway, but I'm trying to give them that nightclub feeling online where like the crowds from Kelly's recorded as well, just cheering and stuff like that, and have it in the background, and what they call it, saying like Elvira Morato coming on and saying, you're listening to Old School Takeover, or Malorgan Lee saying, or Ian Bland, blah, 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 can't wait to see he's back in the dance floor. It made everybody feel a wee bit more at ease with himself what was going on, because it was a fucking total farce.
We needed
But
a
it
lift.
ruined-
We needed a lift, and it sounds like you provided it.
Well, it ruined a lot of nightclubs. It ruined a lot of DJs. You know, a lot of DJs didn't come back from that,
Yeah.
and the ones that did just became more and more fucking cunty. No.
There's plenty of them about, mate.
Listen, the no more bigger DJs or constant DJs. Like, believe you me, having my fucking fair share of them over the years.
What do you think? Do you think the bigger cunt is the DJ or the promoter? Because I've had run-ins with both over the years. There's been
Of
DJs
course,
who
yeah,
think they're fucking better
they're
than they
They're
are.
quite much in level par. Only the promoter's got the fucking upper hand because he's the promoter.
Yeah.
You know, and he can pick and choose who he wants to put on, no matter who the fuck you are. You know, and that happens quite a lot over here. But again, that's something you can't sit and moan about, because it's just one of those fucking things that you've got they've got their favourites, and you know they're maybe a bit cheaper. Tesco's is cheaper.
Yeah. So
You know,
how did
that does go on, like, and it's a fucking sad factor, because it's ruined a lot of DJs and a lot of clubs, and where people should have working in unity. Like, I seen a flyer from 1994, where there's loads of DJs on it together, and I thought, fuck, that'd be brilliant. You know, now it's all like click here and a click there and a click there, and you don't work for him, you work for him, you don't work for me. You know, it's just, or you're not working for me because I don't want to give you any fucking recognition. You know, that sort of way.
Yeah, I've had a bit of that. I've had a bit of
Yeah, it's just, it's rife with it, and there's no rules and regulations for the entertainment business. You know, it's not like football where you've got, like, you know, regulators and all for the, you know, and rules and all the rest of it, or, you know, sport in general. It's not like that. It's just fucking dog eat dog.
Yeah, and like you said, you can piss and moan about it, or you can just crack on and do something, you know,
Yeah.
something yourself, or, you know, fucking wipe the tears away, stop being a snowflake, and fucking move on to something else. But you're right. There's a lot of nepotism there. There's a lot of, well, he's my mate, so he's getting on whether he's shit or not. He'll play for £10 cheaper than you, so he's on and stuff like that. Yeah.
And again, it is all about greed, and that's where it kind of lost its way for me, because once I seen a lot of the greed taking over musical tastes, you know, where clubs were like, you know, our promoters were like, we're only playing this style of music, and they did that for years, and you know, and done well at it, and then all of a sudden they're like going back 10 years and like maybe back more than that, but they're going back and promoting the music that they hated just to get in with the money. And then, you know, there's loads of big stories to back in the day. The shit went on, you know. I was involved in nightclubs where there was bouncers shot outside and stuff, and I wasn't actually there that night because I just actually left the club possibly a week before that, call it an omen or what. But you know, that was heavy duty at that time. That was 1997. But at that stage, I just sort of gave the rave scene a wee break. So I went and was like a resident DJ in a local club here for 3 years and promoted it.
Yeah. And
tried to give, you know, people who deserved a fucking chance a go, you know, which I still do. I still do that. You know, if I see somebody that's got fucking great talent, I still try and give them exposure.
Yeah.
Because a lot of DJs maybe, or promoters, are not put a DJ on because he's maybe too talented. You know, and it makes a lot of other guys look fucking shit. It's true, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, so the old school takeover. How did you get involved with Lee and Kendo? Because obviously, like I say, you only came over there. Was it a year or so ago? Was it last year? First one in Liverpool.
Was it 2021? Was it?
The first one I seen, I'd done an interview with I think it was my second ever podcast. I had Cyanide on, and when we'd finished recording, he went, "Look at this," and he showed me this flyer. He said, "I can't show anyone; it's not common knowledge yet." He said, "But he went, they're all good lads," and he mentioned you, and he mentioned Lee and Ken, and he said, "Oh, you know, they went to Drome and stuff like that, and they know what they're doing." And he went, "I've got this flyer." He said, "But I can't put it out there yet." That was like March or April last year, I think it was. That was the first time I'd heard of Old School Takeover.
Was it Chill FM?
I think it was, yeah.
Right, because that was the first one we done.
Yeah, that was about 12 months ago then, about 12 months ago.
Yeah, possibly. I thought it seems longer than that, actually. But I met Kenny, again, as an accident, where my mate Ben Man there was a guy. I worked for a club in Ballymena called Origin. So one of the bar managers rang me saying there was another DJ on the phone looking to interview Ben Man or get him on the show over lockdown. So I sent the DJ. I said, first of all, I asked Gary, would he be up for doing it? And he said, nah, he's not up for it. So I sent the guy a message saying, listen, Gary's not up for it, but there's his number anyway. And probably about a day later, he said back, who's this? And I said, it's Ray. He goes, X-Ray. I said, yeah. So he actually asked me to come on his show. So yeah, I was taking Ben Man's sloppy seconds. But I'd done because Tricks had been on the week before, so Kendo had tuned in to hear Tricks and then just come on the week after, just by chance. And I put up like a website link and he bought 2 of the USB pens. So I was like, yeah, fucking hell, this guy's cool. So we just had email contact for maybe a couple of months. I didn't even know he was a DJ until lockdown had just hit in at this stage. And I seen him doing the scratch and stuff. I have this guy on the show. And that's basically where they come on the show and everybody fucking loved him because, you know, that's whenever somebody sees a good talent in somebody and, you know, a nice person as well, you know,
goes a long way.
Friendly and blah, blah, blah. They take a shine to him. So I give him the Saturday night show. And then it's really just progressed from that. You know, going across there, him coming across here. And then we started to do the nights across there as well, which is totally their nights is all their work, you know.
Yeah.
Because I really know nobody in Liverpool. Tricks and you now.
Yeah. So I seen the flyer last year, and obviously I had other stuff going on this year. I was more concentrated on the podcast, and then we went to the Stu Allen Memorial thing in Bowlers. Huge big fucking rave. Bowlers was fucking massive and all that. And me and my mates went, had a good time. And just after it, we said, we'll have to do this. I haven't been out like for fucking years. And we said, we're going to have to do it again. So as we walk, about a week or so later, this flyer came out for Old School Takeover, Williamson Tools, Ultrasonic, Tricks, Cyanide, yourself, Ken, Lee. And I went, that's it. We've got to go to that. Just before Christmas it was. We got our tickets, and obviously I couldn't get all of the tickets properly, so I ended up contacting, which we now found out was Ken, on Instagram, because it just says Old School Takeover. I didn't know who it was. I reached out and I said, this link isn't working, because I thought, is this going to sell out dead quick? It did sell out eventually anyway, but I was panicking, like, fucking hell, my mate's got tickets and I haven't got tickets. So I reached out to Ken and I said, you know, and long story short, he sent me the link, and we just started talking, and I said, listen, I said, do you want to come on the podcast? I said, you and Lee, I didn't know you were involved at this point. I just thought they had you on as a guest. Didn't know it was your night. I just thought it was these guys and put the night on. And you were just a guest the same as Tricks was. Obviously, I know a bit more about it now. And I said, just want to come on? And good enough, Ken said, well, first and foremost, he went, it's not our night. He said, it's Ray's. He said, Ray would have to come on. You know, he said, we could do all 3 of us. He said, but to be fair, he went, I'm not really much of a talker. So me and Ken got talking. And like you say, the friendliness and the nice guy goes a long way. Straight away, you know, there was no airs and graces about it. And I said, listen, I said, the podcast, I said, would it be okay if I put some flyers out for the podcast? And he was like, yeah. He went, fuck that. He went, bring some posters. And I went, you sure? He went, yeah. And he went, fuck that, mate. I went, are you sure? He went, yeah. So obviously, fast forward to whenever it was, January, February, just gone. Came down, met yourself, met Mal from Ultrasonic. Obviously met Tricks again, met the lads, had a fucking completely sober, by the way, my car was parked outside, and I drove home with a smile on my face. I went, fucking hell, you know, usually if you're stone cold sober, you're either not going to enjoy yourself or you're going to feel like, I really enjoyed it. The atmosphere was fantastic. Obviously I spoke to you a couple of times, spoke to Lee, spoke to Ken, got to speak to Mal and Mike as well, and then subsequently here we are. I think it's, where are we now, 21st of April. Yeah. And a couple of days ago, or about a week ago, I got a text off Ken and he said, I've just sent you the picture there, don't show anyone. Now, so this podcast's going to go out in like, I think fucking June now anyway. Okay. But obviously, and it was the flyer for the next Old School Takeover, which is yourself. In fact, do you want to say what it is? Go on.
It's Chill FM, M Zone, DJ Rob, your good self,
My good self.
MC Cyanide, me, Kendo, and Lee.
What a fucking lineup that is.
All on the way. Yeah, it's I like Chill FM's vibe, man. I've known them for a lifetime, but I just like the atmosphere. I've seen them create an atmosphere whenever there wasn't an atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, just with their first song and, you know, Sean's mad antics on the or their pyrotechnics, or, you know, where Kelly's was unreal whenever they ran it, and whenever I brought them back to do the reunions, they were the first people. I brought New Atlantic and I brought Chill FM back, Vertigo as well. Who else was there? Suburban Delay, and then all the local guys. And Chill FM just absolutely fucking rocked the place. I mean,
there was nothing like it. There was nothing like it.
No, it's like I was just like, wow, guys, that was fucking unreal, you know. And they kind of like swan off like a fucking one-man band. Just go, yes, we done it.
We seen them in the Dome, obviously. I mean, the Dome was the only real club I ever went to back then in the late 90s. Obviously, after that, I went to different. I like yourself, I had a bit of a break from the scene myself. Mine was quite a lengthy break, twice actually. But from the mid to late 90s, there was 2 acts, and if they were on a flyer in the Dome, you knew you were going to have a good night, and that was Chill FM and Ultrasonic. Both for similar reasons, as you've just said then. Ultrasonic, pure energy, you know, got the crowd going. Mal's fantastic on the mic. They had the dancers and the fucking fellas with the masks on and all that kind of stuff. And Chill FM, my God, I mean, the stage show alone was fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah,
you know,
the big skeletons and stuff.
Yeah, Fred West is dead in the fucking Lecky chair and all that.
I know, yeah, of course.
Fucking
you know, and they had this mad technique of doing how to make his face change from fucking that and do like burnt, and they used to have a hood put over his head.
That's right.
The mask inside the hood,
and then take the other one off. Yeah, I remember all that.
And
it was a bit of a blur, like.
They were very theatrical. I mean, Jim, a guy called Jim. Was it Jim Ford, or it may have not been Jim Ford, but his name is Jim anyway. And he was an artist, a really talented artist, and he came over and painted during their set. He had a big black canvas, and between this time they started their set and time he finished a big thing at Einstein, and that hung above in the Kelly's roof for fucking 4 or 5 years after that. So they were very, you know, theatrical and artistic and weird.
Yeah,
weird's
a good way to put it.
If you heard some of their older stuff, which again I'm just listening to now again. Now I do prefer that from their more banger stuff that they're playing at the minute. But the guys know that. The likes of EIO and the other track that I like.
EIO was a big one. Snowblind, Fred West is dead. Yeah.
On and Beyond, you know, that On and Beyond was an amazing track. The Follow Me was another track.
Snowblind, bring it up.
Yeah, Snowblind was another track. Great riff that on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it fucking really was. And I remember it now, but I haven't heard that since the 90s.
It's a you know, and they were probably one of the first bands that actually got the reception from the crowd where here we fucking go.
Yeah.
Because the track went E-I-E-I-E-I-O, E-I-E-I-E-I-O, E-I-E-I-E, and the crowd just go,
yeah.
Which is, you know, that's the chanting now is a big thing.
It is.
In a club, I think. Any club I go in, right?
So you did some charity work for the air ambulance quite recently when I was doing my research for you. So how did that come out and how did it end up? That
was a shockingly bad night.
Really?
Yeah, really, 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 really bad. It was like it wasn't what you would call the best promoted, and I hope the guys don't hell me for saying that, but Portrush is a hard thing to do on a Friday night.
Yeah.
You know, especially a Friday night, like it's just nobody's going out, and they already had maybe 40 or 50. The place was kind of small anyway upstairs. Maybe I had 30 or 40 in it, and by the time I got on, like, just dwindled down to like I think there was like 6, 7 people on the dance floor just there to see me on a Friday night.
Yeah, we've all been there,
gigs
mate.
like that there, you just take on the chin. Even though it's a charity, I paid to get in, paid 20 quid to get in.
Yeah.
Just to show support. You know, I still do a lot of charity work. I'm doing one next month, and that's for cancer research. For a long time, it was doing fuck all else but charity work, and I had to like fucking nip that in the bud because you can't pay your money with charity
Exactly,
work.
yeah. Yeah,
And,
you can't pay your
have to
bills
forget
with goodwill.
that at any charity, there's somebody sitting at the top there, creaming about $1 million a year off it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sad thing with charity, and it's not all going to where it should be going.
And that's the thing, you know, directors are not like, it's just, the world's a fucked up place, mate.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
So your merchandise, you've got a merchandise stall as well. Is that what something you've got on now?
I do
Is
some
it?
designs as well. I do like again over lockdown, I was sort of got into the designing kind of thing too. You know, take an idea and kind of put it down, stick it on the t-shirt, see how it looks.
Yeah.
You know, just put it on a pair of trainers, see how it looks.
Yeah. So where can we find these?
That's at the oldschooltakeover.com.
Oldschooltakeover.com.
Yeah.
I'll put the address at the bottom. It'll scroll across the bottom. The wonders of modern technology. I'll fucking send it across the bottom.
You're going like that at the same time.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, well, that way.
It's your finger doing it. Make the noise now.
Yeah. So I can just see the top of your faders there. So what you couldn't set up at home with your equipment for DJing?
At the moment, I was actually out last night doing this morning actually, about 4:30 this morning to do like a sunrise. It was really fucking cool, by the way.
Yeah. Is
I'll
that where
show
you were with the rocks behind you?
Yeah.
I seen a very small clip of that on YouTube, and I thought you were just standing by a fucking green screen. You were actually out in the wilderness.
Oh yeah, that's actually the second decent one we've done. We're actually the third one tonight. Just me and my mate Mark and Roy went down, set the thing up on a really cool metal circle thing that's overlooking the cliffs. Nobody has done one down there before, so we get in there tonight. Yes, get it. But it was really, I mean, like the sun was coming up and we were just playing good, decent music, and there were 3 or 4 different cameras going, and it was recording different parts, and we were only there for about an hour, 45 minutes. But we went away with some amazing footage, man.
That's fucking brilliant, that mate. I genuinely thought
we just all set up down there.
I genuinely thought, he's on a green screen there. He's fucking good at video editing because it looks really fucking real.
I know. I thought I could do that as well. Like, you know, what's the point? You wouldn't get any fresh air in your lungs. But my setup here for home is more like a. I've got
the tour. Put your pants on, Ray, for fuck's sake.
My pants. That's a Roland DJ 808. I don't know if you're familiar with the Roland stuff.
Yeah, it's got an 808 built in, hasn't it?
It's got an 808 built in, but it's a cracking tool, man. I mean, like, you can do so much with it. 4 decks running at one time, and multiple scratch techniques.
That's not coming through. We're not getting no sound coming through off that,
One of those ones. But that's what I use. I have a set of the Pioneers as well, and I've got the live Roland set up as well over here. But that's my wall. It's my fucking wall of honor. You maybe get signs that someday when you're.
Yes, I hope to do. Yeah, I hope to come over and sign that.
They're all like Kelly's pictures from '93 to '95. Took by a guy called Brandon Dockery, a friend of mine at the time. He was probably one of the first DJs I ever met as well. Sort of goes the whole way. There's Mr. Cox there.
Yes.
I think there's one there with Mr. Cox as well somewhere. Just down maybe here somewhere. Oh yeah.
Very good. Yes, I'll have to get on that wall. I've only ever been to Northern Ireland once. I went to Newry in County Down.
Ah, yes.
About 1997, I think it was. And fuck me, mate. I was actually talking about this yesterday to my missus. Fuck me, I tell you what, they know how to party over there, mate.
Oh, yes.
Fucking hell.
See, the first time I ever went to Liverpool was to the Merseyside Academy. It was a thing called Fusion, ran by the guys from 3 Beat, nearly sure. It was a guy called Mixing and Vertigo. I was actually staying with Vertigo that night because I was going over here to buy records to bring back the record shop, and the atmosphere was just unreal. That's before it became Cream.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
92.
yeah.
And the atmosphere was just like back home. It's just like unreal. Yeah. I always said that the Scousers were a bit more. Okay, let's go.
There's always been a bit of a collab between the Irish and the Liverpool. I don't know. I think it's because the Irish come over here in the 50s or the 60s, was it, or something like that. But there's always been a strong link between Liverpool and Northern Ireland.
Definitely wasn't Brendan Rodgers.
Right, Ray, we are going to finish off now. We are going to finish off now with some quick fire questions.
Okay.
DJ X-Ray, I will take your first answer and your first answer only. Summer or winter?
Oh, summer.
Vinyl.
Even though I was born in the winter.
Vinyl or digital?
Vinyl. Yeah.
Really, I'm shocked that was you. I really am, because you, as you said, you alluded to yourself before. You're a better DJ now, probably because of experience as well. But the stuff you can do. That
just goes for as like a starting thing. You know, I think if you're going to start DJing, learn vinyl first.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Alive or dead? Who would you like to watch in concert?
Oh. Probably Elvis Presley.
Yeah, my mum will be very pleased to hear that. You're listening, Mum. My mum watches. My mum's my biggest fan. She watches all my podcasts. So she'll have a fucking big smile on her face now. He's a lovely lad, that X-Ray, isn't he?
Hello.
Yeah, hello, James, Mum. So you go into a shop and it's fully stocked. What would be your go-to chocolate bar?
A big massive bar, Cadbury's caramel.
What scares you?
Getting old.
I've got some news for you, Ray.
I know that.
This is a bit of a fan question. This, my mate in work, Steve, said, "Ask him, has he ever had an X-ray?"
Oh yeah, and recently too.
Yeah, and what was it?
Yeah, I had an MRI scan there actually not so long ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, loads of X-rays. Yeah, I've been actually down in it, and the girl noticing that I was a DJ, because she went to the raves as well. Like, but we sort of just like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, I did, yeah.
Yeah, so there
I can actually give them as well.
Question's been answered. What would be your first purchase if you won the Euro Millions?
Oh fuck. I thought about this so many times. Like, well, yeah. A ticket to go see my son in Australia. He's getting married today, actually.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it? Hell,
he's 30 now. Jordan, you call him Jordan and Derby. So if you're never listening to this back again, Jordan Derby, I wish you all the best for today.
Yeah. Well, when you listen to this, you'll be fucking probably divorced. Fucking 2 months before this gets released. Tea or coffee?
I'll probably buy a ticket. Take my daughter as well.
Yeah.
And my partner Amanda. And her boys Dean, Chandler, and Brandon.
Oh, you struggle there. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What's your favourite swear word or insult?
Fucking bastard.
What's your favourite DJ or dance act?
Carl Cox, like, and I've always said this. I don't know whether. Yeah, Carl Cox.
Yeah.
Still.
80s or 90s?
Can I go 90s? No.
If you want.
No. I have to say 90s because but I love the 80s as well.
Yeah. What's your worst habit?
Procrastinating.
What superhero would you be? If you could be any superhero. You can't be Wonder Woman and just look in the mirror, by the way.
Ram Jam.
Ram Jam.
He-Man.
Ram Man from He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing a little plastic on it, wasn't he? I remember him.
Fuck that, mate.
He was always fucking breaking
him. He'd never broke. He was well protected. He used to ram things.
Yeah. Alive or dead? If you could have dinner with anybody, who would it be?
John Lennon.
What's your pet hate?
See, I've never been asked these questions before. Pet hate. Yeah, I can come up with something.
Scousers who ask too many questions.
No, this is great. I love this. My pet hate would be possibly not being able to. I don't even know the answer to that.
Yeah,
That's a good question, actually. What's my pet hate?
It's a good thing you haven't got one. That's a good answer. There's people I work with who fucking have a long list.
Possibly records outside of the record covers.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, once you see that, go, fuck.
Oh, don't do that, yeah. And your final question, what's the best podcast you've ever been on?
Oh. Before this one or after it?
Ray, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
No,
I can't thank you enough.
I'll answer that question. This one has been really good because it's been more easygoing than some of the ones I've done, and some of the other ones have been more too in depth and trying to. I like the Malorca Lee one as well.
Yeah,
I've done with him.
Yeah,
because we bounced off each other. We've known each other for years, but no, just happened the other day, but it was good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get Malorca Lee on. I spoke to him obviously at the Old School Takeover that you guys put on, and I've got his email address. I spoke to him back and forth. He's actually out the country at the moment. He just said to get on when he gets back. So hopefully I'm going to get Malorca Lee on, and Trix as well. If you've got contact with Trix,
I
spoke to him on the night, and he's too humble for his own good. He said, I'm not very good at these podcasts, and I watched. Or I listened rather to the one he did with Malorca Lee, and it was fucking brilliant. It was so insightful. So if you've got contact with Mike, tell him I'm very gentle. I'm ever so nice. I won't shout at him. I won't give him no awkward questions. And I really, really, really would appreciate him coming on because I think his story to the Liverpool fans. He's a legend. Just you're a legend in Northern Ireland. He's a legend there, and that's where I think you're both very similar styles as well, you know, and there's a crossover there. I think that's why he's got on as well, you know.
And again, it's not easy to get on with somebody who wants to get on with everybody.
Exactly.
Or it's not hard to get on with somebody who wants to get on with everybody. You know, that's what I'm going to say.
Anyway, Ray, thank you very much.
World peace, man. World peace.
Yeah, world peace. You and John Lennon sitting there giving it world peace, having dinner. Come on, let's go. We've got to go watch Elvis Presley in concert anyway.
We'll fight it out.
Thank you very much for your time and your stories, Ray. I really appreciate it. This is probably going to come out in June. So if you watch it or listen to this, the Old School Takeover, 1st of July, District. Is it in District? It is in District, isn't it?
District and Liverpool.
District in Liverpool. Chill FM, M Zone, DJ Rob, myself, Jay Viper, MC Cyanide, X-Ray, Lee Downey and Kendo. It's going to be a fantastic night. If you like your old school, if you went to the Drome, you're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be a fantastic night. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Up next for me, we've got Andy Tranter from the Reminisce Bar. And after that, as I always say, who knows? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you get on the socials at the bottom. Give us a little like, give us a thumbs up. And Ray's doing the graphics there for me. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Thank you very much.